When we talk to someone, we assume we're seeing the whole story. We listen to their words, watch their smiles, and track their eye contact. In our minds, social interaction happens in real time, governed by the choices people make. But humans are conditioned to look for signals, the things people choose to show us. We wait for a deliberate lean-in or a conscious laugh. Because we focus on these intentional cues, we often miss the involuntary leaks that happen long before a person decides how they want to be perceived. These leaks are the product of the autonomic nervous system. Before the brain's logic centers can filter a reaction, the face responds to a stimulus. It's a biological reflex that escapes the body's control for a fraction of a moment. This happens in exactly 1/25th of a second. That is the narrow window where a micro-expression lives, after the nerves trigger the facial muscles, but before the prefrontal cortex can intercept the signal and reset the face to a neutral or polite mask. To see what someone is actually feeling, we have to look past the social performance. We have to slow down the interaction and examine the microscopic data that the nervous system is pushing to the surface. Every micro-expression begins with a race. Information triggers the amygdala, sending a pulse from the brainstem directly to the facial nerves. This is the spark, an initial surge of interest hitting the facial muscles before the prefrontal cortex can fact-check the emotion. The first sign is often a flash smile, a quick asymmetrical lift of one corner of the mouth that vanishes almost instantly. It isn't a social smile, it's a momentary leak of positive emotion, admiration, or interest that the person immediately reels back in to maintain composure. Another indicator is the eyebrow flick, a lift of the brows lasting less than half a second. Biologically, this is the brain's orientation reflex. It increases the visual field, signaling that the brain has recognized something of high interest and is scanning for more information. These microsparks occur because the nervous system is reacting to a preference. While a person might say they are indifferent, these sub-second movements indicate that their brain has already flagged the interaction as significant. A moment after the spark, the brain's executive function catches up. This begins the suppression, where the conscious mind realizes an emotion is leaking and attempts to physically restrain it. This is where we see the tight lip press. The lips compress into a thin, straight line for a fraction of a second. The brain is holding something back, a thought, a reaction, or a growing attraction. While this can look like a sign of being closed off, it often appears when someone is around a person they find compelling. The more intense the attraction, the more effort the brain exerts to stay in control, resulting in this brief, high-tension compression. We also see the nose wrinkle. This micro-expression of internal conflict occurs when a positive impulse, attraction, is met with immediate resistance from the logical mind. It's a physical signal that the person is feeling something they didn't intend to feel. These suppressive movements are significant because they reveal the struggle. If she were actually disinterested, there would be no reason for her nervous system to work this hard to maintain a neutral face. The effort of suppression confirms the presence of the feeling. Sometimes the physiological response is too sharp for simple suppression to work. This leads to the final phase, overload. The lip bite is often the brain's way of grounding itself. By creating a sudden, sharp tactile sensation, the nervous system attempts to distract itself from an overwhelming spike in emotional or physical arousal. This is frequently misunderstood as a deliberate flirtatious gesture. However, the timing suggests it's a biological failsafe. It happens when the internal pressure of the attraction exceeds the person's ability to mask it with a simple lip press or a neutral expression. This overload is often triggered by changes in the environment, like a sudden pause in conversation or a lower vocal tone. These moments remove social noise and force the person to focus entirely on the tension of the moment, causing the nervous system to spike. The lip bite suggests a nervous system reaching its capacity for restraint. It's the final leak that occurs when the internal experience of attraction briefly outweighs the brain's ability to maintain social distance. Once that 25th of a second passes, the mask is back in place. We return to the normal speed of social interaction, where everything feels controlled and predictable again. The most common mistake is calling these moments out. If you mention a micro-expression, you alert her prefrontal cortex. This causes the person to become more guarded, effectively shutting down the involuntary leaks you were trying to observe. The more effective strategy is to stay calm and utilize silence. When you slow down and avoid filling the space with words, you create the conditions that allow these micro-expressions to surface. Maintaining eye contact and composure puts the focus back on the nervous system. Without the distraction of active conversation, the logical mind has less to process, which often leads to more frequent and visible biological leaks. By observing the physiological reaction instead of the verbal one, you change how you understand attraction. You move away from interpreting social signals and begin to see the underlying biological reality of the interaction.